What's going on, gamers, nerds, and geeks? It's your boy, A to the P, Elwood Perkins, here with you late tonight because we got to talk PlayStation. Yes, that's right. The E3 PlayStation media briefing just ended here about an hour and a half ago or so. And, man, they had a lot to show off, so here we are for Mammoth Gamers, and we want to go ahead and let you guys know what you missed in case you didn't get a chance to check it out. Again, this is A to the P, Elwood Perkins. I'm here alongside, of course, my colleague, my PIC, Mark Prisca. Mark,
what's up, good? Everyone? How are you?
I'm good, man. I'm good. We're finally at we're at the next to last presser here.
Technically the last one.
Yeah, Nintendo's is a recording, I guess, right?
Well, it's not
sort of
part of the E3.
Yeah,
like it's outside of E3, but it's for E3.
Right.
So. But that's tomorrow. We'll have that. Don't you guys worry. But yeah,
live, but it will be a recording.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're on the tail end of E3. More news will be coming out, but this is the second to last. This is the last live reaction.
Yeah.
And the second to last video recap review thing that we do.
Yeah, that's right, man. Crazy. It's just it amazes me how crazy the hype is for this, and it just comes and it goes but the news
it's
constant. It's insane.
Like it's 2 months of building and then 3 days of explosion, and then by the end of the third day you're like, has it been 3 days for real?
Yeah, but it's literally like a whirlwind. It's like, seriously? It's crazy. But as you can see, I'm ready. As you can see, ladies and gentlemen, I am ready.
I don't like PlayStation at all. What are you talking about?
Nice and subtle there with the mug. Well played.
Yeah, I even use my PlayStation arm.
Oh, that's great. Awesome. So, yeah, man, let's talk PlayStation. Was greatness awaits. I mean, what did you think? First thing we saw was, The Last of Us Part 2.
Last of Us Part 2, yeah. So
let me go ahead and try to cue that up here for the viewers.
Yeah. First of all, I apologize for any weirdness has been doing. Hopefully bringing it closer. Yeah, hopefully it's a little bit. I went back and listened to the other streams and I was like, oh, this isn't that good. But hopefully I moved it closer to my mouth. I don't have a pop filter yet. Getting one. So hopefully, just in general, hopefully it's better.
Yeah.
But going back to the conference. Everyone who's been listening to these knows I'm extremely biased towards PlayStation, so I have to try to rein it in a little bit, be a little bit more critical. Opening up with the theme, the composer coming out and coming out with the theme of The Last of Us 2, I really enjoyed personally. But at the same time, my first thought was I criticized Bethesda and Ubisoft for doing this, and I'm enjoying it for PlayStation. So then I started looking at it out of a lens of somebody who may not have played Last of Us or not liked Last of Us or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
It felt like it went on just a little bit too long. Personally, again, I loved it. And then it went straight into a brand new sequence with Ellie.
Yeah.
And we got to see no Joel anywhere. No. That leads me to believe.
We still haven't seen him, man.
Yeah, it literally the only time did we see him in the announcement trailer, or was it just his voice? He was definitely in the announcement.
Voice.
It might have been like the back of his head, but this super leads me to believe that it did. I thought he was dead. Until the new guy, don't know who he is, comes up and tells Ellie about your old man. So I'm assuming everybody assumes that Joel is Ellie's father. So we still don't know who Laura Bailey's character is from last year's E3 video. We assume Ellie's mom, but now we're not sure, or at least I'm not sure, because we got to see, it looks like the same group that woman got saved from.
Yeah, from the last trailer, I think.
From the last,
PSX?
Yes, that's what it was. It was PSX.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So like her on a bucket, her them threatening to cut her stomach. Everybody assumed that there was a baby in there, but it just seems like that's how they kill people.
Yeah.
They tie you to a bucket, they cut the rope, or they cut the your stomach off, and then kick the bucket, and then you either die from bleeding out or you die from strangulation. But it's not like a sudden stop, so it's brutal. It's very brutal, but it seems like that same group that Ellie is now infiltrating in this trailer, in the gameplay at least. And now I don't know. It made sense that Laura Bailey was playing her mother. They're very secretive and still are very secretive on who Laura Bailey is. That woman looks very Ellie-esque from the trailer last year. But now we don't know. I'm completely lost. I have more questions than I have answers. I love the fact that it looks and plays like The Last of Us 1. That was one of my favorite aspects. The crafting aspect of The Last of Us is back. Mm-hmm. So
the crafting elements is what makes this game, man. Because when you craft, you don't. There's no pause in the game.
Nope.
You know, it's just you're doing it as the game. The game doesn't pause. Like, you can go ahead and craft up an arrow with a grenade attached to it, but you better.
Somebody might come up behind you. Yep.
Yeah.
And I love just how smart I was talking about this during the Square Enix conference with Tomb Raider, how dumb their AI seems, because like, oh, there's a guy down, everybody come here, when you were just talking to him. This game, they're using names, they're using like, oh, Marcus is down, she went this way, everybody be on it. Like, feels like, it literally feels like I'm in a HUD of people, real life people, and the woman's looking underneath cars and like tracking Ellie down, and it is exactly what I want from The Last of Us. I am so excited for this game. I am so pumped for this game.
It's gonna be fire.
And at this point, literally, Naughty Dog could make a phone game, and I'm going to be ecstatic for it, because I know it's going to be the best thing ever. It's going to be the best thing ever made in the genre that they're doing. It's just, I could literally gush about The Last of Us the whole time, but Sony threw us all for a loop. So Sony announced, I think it was last week or the week before, that they're going to be deep diving and focusing on 4 games.
Yes.
Ghost of Tsushima.
They were going to do it a little differently, they said, right?
Yep. And they delivered on the difference. Our chat at Mammoth was getting really heated for a little while, because the conference opens up. Hopefully you guys watched it. The conference opens up, and you're in this chapel-looking building, this giant tent church thing.
Right.
And then the conference, the Last of Us 2 opens up. You realize that Ellie is in the very same church tent conference thing as a dance that, like, it looks like a ball almost, or like a school dance more than anything.
Yeah.
Then so you realize that that's what they're in. They're in a look-alike Last of Us makeshift arena or conference room. Then the Last of Us 2 reveal ends, and then they usher everybody out to another part of the conference floor, and then they cut to Sid Schumann and Ryan Clements, which is normally their pre and post show guys, and also their the blog. They run the PlayStation blog.
Ryan runs a blog. You got it.
And so everyone in the chat, it blew up. They're like, "What is this? Why are they doing this?" One of the
this is bull crap.
One of our colleagues turned off the stream apparently, and like,
oh man.
And I'm like, and being a Sony fanboy, I'm like, you guys are all dumb. I don't need you anyway. Go ahead, leave. And that's when that's whenever they revealed. It looks like the exclusive content for Blops 4. Call of Duty Black Ops 4, and also Destiny. And also there was something in between those two, I felt. A game that we already knew about, and the game that was already shown. There might not have been. They might have just been talking. about
Yeah,
it.
I think they kind of talked there for a little while because they needed to fill a little bit of time, probably because they were still trying to,
Sure.
get everything ready. If I'm remembering correctly.
Yeah, and that's when Twitch went down. If you guys were watching on Twitch, Twitch crashed.
Oh man,
Um,
that's a
yeah, I
fail.
was I was freaking out, and especially because it crashed right before the Destiny 2 Forsaken story reveal, and I was like, "You have got to be kidding me! It
Poor
could not
man.
have crashed at a worse time."
That's the worst. Yeah, exactly.
Um, and so I messaged you, asked you if your stream was up. You're watching on YouTube. Thankfully, I was able to get on YouTube before the stream fully picked back up because they did the same thing with The Last of Us, but with Ghost of Tsushima, they brought out a musician. I'm assuming the musician that did the music for the game, and he was playing a very traditional Japanese instrument that I don't know the name of. And he was doing the theme song to Ghost of Tsushima before the reveal of that. And luckily, I was able to get back into the stream. Admit, what's the word I'm trying to say?
Amidst,
That
amongst maybe.
Maybe, I don't know. During the Ghost of Tsushima music performance. So,
Yes.
but during that time, I went back, watched the Destiny 2 story reveal. My heart was ripped out from my chest because it looks like Cade dies from Prince Aldrin. And if you're a Destiny fan, Prince Aldrin was the jerkhead that is the Queen's sister in the first original vanilla game. And also you see him presumably die in the beginning of The Taken King, but he did not die. We learned that through Grimoire and all that kind of fun
Still
stuff.
around.
And he looks like he killed Cade, took his gun, and took his cloak. And I do not want to kill anybody more than Prince Aldrin right now. Like, the moment I see him in this game, I'm going to unload all of my ammunition on this guy, even if
he's already dead.
Yep, he will not survive.
Oh man.
But that's besides the point. That's just me.
Yeah.
Ghost of Tsushima, though, I was gonna buy the game because I'm a Sucker Punch fan. I've never really watched any old samurai movies. I'm not really big on the not big is the wrong way to say it. I'm not versed and I am ignorant is the easiest way to say to the Japanese culture.
Okay. Yeah.
So like whenever they announce
admittedly so I am too, probably, yeah.
Yeah. And to the point to where like Japanese culture is something that I need to learn to like understand because from a Western point of view and a very again like unknowledgeable point of view, it's odd to me, like games like Metal Gear Solid and animes and stuff like that. Metal Gear. And but I have to say, Ghost of Tsushima sold the hell out of me because that game looks beautiful and plays amazingly. There's no HUD.
It's unbelievable. That's what I mentioned in the chat. I was like, there's no heads-up display in this game. I was like, it's so theatrical and cinematic. There's no heads-up display. So I wonder how they're going to do that whenever they show it off. Or is it just going to be a situation where, they kind of show you the controls at first and then eventually they're just going to like fade off?
I'm thinking it's probably going to be that.
Oh, man.
It's going to just be
Be
emotional.
like, what movie is this? It's, like, it's not a movie.
It looks phenomenal. Like them at the end fighting with all the lotus leaves falling down from the lotus tree, and the ground's covered in these red lotus leaves that move whenever you move, and oh my god, it looks beautiful and
unbelievable, man. Yeah.
I'm really excited about this game now. And Sucker Punch did it again. I was a Sly fan, and then I was an Infamous fan, and now I'm going to be a Ghost of Tsushima fan. So I'm just a Sucker Punch fan, I guess.
Sucker Punch?
And then they had these cool little interludes in between each game, like segment, I guess, of games. So at the end of a big reveal, like Ghost of Tsushima, they had a transition from that game, give you a little break before they had the traditional Sony E3 conference where it was announcement. And they used Dreams to do that. All the transitions were from Dreams.
Dreams, yeah. That was cool.
Yeah, it was it was a cool way to put Dreams in the E3 conference without being like, hey, this game is probably not for everybody, and the people who care about this game right now are the people we care about, and we're just gonna like subliminally put this stuff in. It was brilliant. Like,
Yeah.
if you're not a big fan, if you're not into Dreams, not planning on buying it, you don't want to sit there with a new Dreams trailer. Like, the trailers for Dreams, it's the only game it is in VR, but it's a traditional game as well. It's the only game that I know of traditionally that can't be shown off in a trailer. Like,
it's a game that you just have to experience and play, right?
Exactly. It's collaborative. Yeah. I can get on there and just make music if I wanted to. And then another, like, you can be like, hey, I'm making a level. Can I use that track in my level? Yeah, go ahead. And then in the credits, it'll say music by Mark Kriska. I'm like, that is brilliant. That is the coolest thing ever. But there was no reveal, so we can go on from that. This is where Sony surprised me in a good way, because I was, especially after the first two announcements, pretty much convinced that whenever they announced that it was just going to be Spider-Man, Ghost of Tsushima, Last of Us, and Death Stranding, that was it. That's all we're going to be getting.
Yeah, I thought it was just going to be kind of short, maybe 45 minutes, just kind of give us what they had said. It was going to be different, and these are the, essentially these are going to be the 4 games that we're going to focus on, and go from there. But no, they surprised us, and they gave us a couple games that hadn't been announced yet, which was freaking cool.
Yeah, the only... So I'm looking at it. So minus the 4 that they already talked about going into, there is only, I believe, one game announcement that is a game that's already been announced.
Oh, okay.
So everything that we've saw tonight is brand new, never before seen games ever.
Yeah.
And it started with Control, which is...
Oh, dude, this game looks good. I was like, what is this? It's like all bendy, like Matrix futuristic type deal.
Yeah, the pulsing handgun and stuff.
That dude, like, it was like switching shapes and stuff. Like, look at this. I mean, I'm gonna bring it up here for you guys. This game looked insane, man.
Now, this game is a huge deal, not from a game perspective, but it's from Remedy. Now, if you guys don't know, Remedy is the ones who did Alan Wake, and they're the ones who did Quantum Break.
Yes.
Both Xbox exclusive games.
Yes.
I've been a fan of Remedy since Alan Wake. A PlayStation fan, literally, like, Alan Wake was one of my favorite games, and it wasn't on PlayStation. So they definitely know how to get me as a gamer. And
look at the gun switching up like that.
Yeah, it's just
insane. It's like a transformer.
Yeah. That was pretty good.
Hey, thanks.
But it's also from 505, which it seems like it's going to be 505's first, not first, but like their biggest original IP that they're publishing. 505's pretty well known for either bringing smaller indie games over or doing like almost like a Blue Point. They do a lot of remakes and remasters and stuff like that. But this is their, like, if this is the game that I'm thinking of, they were quoted a while ago saying that the game that they're working on right now is the biggest project they've ever worked on. So I'm assuming it's this one. And I'm ecstatic about it. So anything Remedy, I still need to play Quantum Break. Excuse me. And the only reason I haven't yet is because it didn't seem like, review-wise, it didn't seem like a game that was up my alley, with like the show elements to it. The same thing that like that Square Enix game that we were talking about. Very similar to that. But my phone went nuts for this next game review. An ex-Mammoth writer, Dale Crow, one of my good friends, is one of the biggest fans of this game that I've ever met in my entire life. And
former writer.
Yep, and he blew up my phone whenever Resident Evil 2 Remake was announced.
Oh, man.
This game looks fantastic.
Dude, it looks insane.
And it looks like
insane. It's coming soon, man. Relatively January. January is coming. Looks like it's going to be kind of
January and February. There was a tweet Andrea Renee tweeted out right before the PlayStation conference. That meme where it's the guy holding the girl's hand and like checking out the other girl as she's walking by. It says
it's one you could use for many.
Anything. And on the guy's shirt it says game releases. On the girl shirt walking by it says February 22nd, and so on the girl, looking at February 22nd, and the girl that he's holding the hand with says literally any other day of the year, like basically saying, "Come on, games, literally announce another date
that's
because
perfect.
the 22nd."
That's perfect.
Yeah, it was great.
That's
funny. But RE2, RE2 originally was a game that I couldn't get into because I played super late. I played in the PS3 era because of Dale, and the tank controls. I can't do tank controls. I like at the time they were fine, and I know that it adds to the tension and the horror.
You can't. If you have to be not moving, correct?
Yep. The aim and shoot. Yep.
Yeah.
And you can only move forwards, but there's no turn around and go backwards unless you like hit a square and backwards, then your character will spin, because if not, then you just literally strafe left and right, move forwards, and back up without looking behind you. And it wasn't the fact that I couldn't do it because it was too scary or too the tension about the game. Like, I couldn't do it. But this one looks like it plays like Resident Evil 4.
Yeah.
That's something I can get behind.
You could get behind that.
Yeah, like the over-the-shoulder third-person shooter game. Yeah, give me that. That's how Resident Evil 1 remake was, and I enjoyed that a lot more. And what I like about this is it seems like, now granted, I didn't play through Resident Evil 2, but it seems like they're setting up a lot more of the story going forward, like making it make more sense instead of it being like zombies, then Ouroboros and Resident Evil 4. It seems like they're trying to like meld elements from later storylines earlier on, so it's more of like a subsequential reveal. So like, for instance, they showed the president, they turned the camera around and you see the president's seat with nothing there, and that, to me, since Leon's in this game, is showing like, hey, Leon and the president are going to get kind of close or have some sort of connection. That's why the president has him as a bodyguard, and that's why the president has him go after his daughter in Resident Evil 4. So, like, that's the kind of stuff that I want to see. I want to see kind of like what Ratchet and Clank did whenever they got remade, and they made the story make more sense as a whole. If you played like, Ratchet and Clank 1 originally does not connect well to the rest of the series.
Yes. Yeah.
So I like that they're doing that a lot.
Yeah, and it looks like it's extremely well put together. It's extremely polished too. Whenever first showing it, it's honestly, because it was being shown from like a first person view perspective, I thought it was a VR game. I was like, yeah, this is kind of like a PlayStation VR game or something. And then I saw the rat, and I was like, wait a minute. And then I saw the zombie biting that officer's neck and ripping it apart, and I was like, oh, it's Resident Evil. Resident Evil. Resident Evil.
Resident Evil.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, dude. Oh, man. And that's when I like gasped, and I was like, oh, my God, they did it. They did it. So Dale's been asking for this game for a minute.
Oh, so my God. Like, for as long as I've known him. That's like 10 years now. So I texted him. We were both watching the stream at the same time. I texted him the moment it came on. Just for some reason, it just looked aesthetically like Resident Evil to me. I'm like, RE2 question mark? He texted me back saying it better be. And then like you said, the camera threw me off. I'm like, okay,
that's what I thought. I was like, this must be some kind of new VR game, and I was like, it looks damn good, whatever it is, you know.
Yeah, because like it opened up, and I was like, Resident Evil, and then the rat climbs up the side of the wall, and I'm like, not Resident Evil. What is this? And then like other stuff happens, and then the rat goes on the table, and you see a PS1. I'm like, oh, it's Resident Evil. It has to be Resident Evil. Yeah. And then the rat runs around a little bit more, and that's whenever, like you said, you see the zombie bite the thing falls on the rat, kills the rat, the camera pans up, and you see the zombie
Yeah, man.
And the PlayStation 1 on the table tells me this is going to be an exclusive game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So the fact if that's true, if Resident Evil 2 Remake is an exclusive PlayStation game, that's huge. That's a huge, like, huge in a very small way. Like,
I think I'm trying to think that the trailer say only on PlayStation.
Nothing. None of them said anything. There was no only on PlayStations. There was no world premieres. There was no console exclusive things. So, like, I don't know if everything they showed was exclusives today.
Yeah.
I guess it can't be because Kingdom Hearts 3 was shown.
Right.
But everything else.
To next, yeah.
Yeah. But everything else seemed like, I don't know, because the next thing they announced, which actually was kind of funny. I'm not a huge fan of Rick and Morty, but Trover Saves the Universe.
Dude, that was funny, man.
Yeah, it was good. And then, like, the guy who does Marty's voice comes through, and he has, like, it's not Marty, it's this blue alien guy, and he has 2 different colored eyes, and his pupils have 2 eyes on him. So he has 4 eyes on 2 eyes.
Yeah, 4 eyes, yeah.
Yeah, and, like, he's like, call 711! That's the number you call for emergencies in this universe, I guess.
Yeah, and it was, like, in that same exact voice, too.
Yeah. So, like, that I got a chuckle out of that. I was good. I'm glad that even in this giant showcase, even with them showing way less games than they usually do, they still found room for indie games like that. Yeah. And then my life was made.
Oh, man.
Kingdom Hearts 3 has a new trailer. 2 trailers this week.
Dude, it looked dope.
And this trailer, I texted everybody in the chat, and again, this is going to sound very fanboy of me, very attacky. I literally, I put Kingdom Hearts 3 trailer, ! Xbox got boned on their trailer because
you did say that, and I was like, damn, Mark.
Because the Xbox and the Square Enix trailer were garbage next to this one.
Yeah.
Like, this one, it was polished. This one, there was no
it did look
weird
more polished, didn't
it? Yeah,
it?
there was no, like, VO sound effects
and
that
we got a new world. Pirates.
We got a new Pirates of the Caribbean. And now Pirates of the Caribbean was in Kingdom Hearts 2. And it was the worst part of Kingdom Hearts 2. They used, and I don't mean any disrespect, but they used James Arnold Taylor to do Jack's voice in Kingdom Hearts 2, who is Ratchet from Ratchet and Clank. He's Obi-Wan from the Clone Wars. He does phenomenal voice work. He does. He's one of my favorite voice actors. He can't do Jack Sparrow. I'm sorry. If you go back and watch trailers or cutscenes from Jack Sparrow in Kingdom Hearts 2, it doesn't even, it sounds like I'm doing a Jack Sparrow impression. This one, and PS2, PS2 couldn't make realistic looking people like PS4 can or Xbox One can. So you see them, and Sora, Donald, and Goofy look really strange. They look way too lifelike, and I'm like, what's going on? Like, what? I thought it was Peter Pan whenever I first saw them, and like, but why don't they look like they're in Peter Pan? And then you see from At World's End, you see the ship from Pirates of the Caribbean going over the sand.
Yep.
And then you see Jack, and then you hear Jack, and it sounds like Johnny Depp.
Is it? Someone tweet him. Is he on Twitter?
He probably deleted it because he's been getting shit for the last few movies that he's been doing. Man. I don't think it is Johnny Depp. They couldn't get him from Kingdom Hearts 1, and although it might be. Who knows?
I mean, Square has to work closely with Disney for this game, and obviously to get the licensing. Maybe. Well,
the only reason I don't think it is because in Kingdom Hearts 2, all the voice actors were the original voice actors except for Jack Skellington and Jack Sparrow.
Jack Sparrow. Okay.
And it was because Jack Skellington, I don't know why they couldn't get the original voice actor, but technically that's not a Disney property. That was a Disney acquisition.
Okay.
That was, I can't remember who originally did that movie, but Disney bought the company that originally did that movie, so now it's a Disney property. And then
this game looks so. Oh my goodness, it looks beautiful. I have it playing right now, dude.
It looks and
sunset.
Then we got way more story beats out of it, also. So We see Kyrie talking. We see Axel, which I don't know why they use the name Axel. His name's Lee now. So this is showing my Kingdom Hearts nerdism coming out. We get to see that the organization is real. They are back, but it's so in Kingdom Hearts, whenever you defeat a nobody, they become human again. So nobody is just, if you take your heart out in Kingdom Hearts, your heart becomes a heartless and your body becomes a nobody.
Okay.
And whenever you defeat the heartless and the nobody, you go back to being human. But you retain, like, basically, it's still you as a nobody. If you're strong enough willed, you become, like, you basically don't change when you become a nobody. You keep all the same memories, you keep all your same intentions. It's just you no longer have compassion. Your compassion's gone. And whenever you go back to being a somebody, that's what they call them, you keep everything that you've done and everything that you learned as a nobody is still there. So all these organization members are joining the organization again after Sora defeated them in these past games because they have all the memories still. They just have compassion now, but they can choose to ignore compassion. So that seems like what the direction that they're going for.
Okay.
This is really, again, I'm going to end this Kingdom Hearts nerd off here pretty soon, but like that's like, for me, that was the highlight of the conference. Outside of like the four main games that they talked about, like, I didn't expect it. I didn't think it was going to happen, and then they announced the most ugly but needed PlayStation 4 Pro of my entire life. It's a Kingdom Hearts exclusive PlayStation 4 Pro, and it comes with everything. It comes with, it comes with 1.5 plus 2.5 and 2.8 prologue, along with Kingdom Hearts 3, all in the system. That's
pretty much every single Kingdom
Hearts that you need. It is every single Kingdom Hearts game. The only game that's not included is Kingdom Hearts Cross, I believe it's called. It's the app
Union
game.
Cross or
Union Cross. That's it.
Okay.
That's the phone game, which you can get on any phone. So you can literally just have all the Kingdom Hearts games. And although technically there's a short movie in 2.8 that goes with the story of Union Cross, so it's called Back Cover. And so you technically don't need that game. It's literally everything you need for Kingdom Hearts. But then everything changes because it goes straight to Death Stranding.
It literally makes no freaking sense, man.
We have more questions now than we did after the fourth trailer.
I don't even know, like,
I don't even know what questions
I know we
to
gotta
ask.
talk about it, dude. I don't even know, like, what to say. Like, I don't understand. I still don't understand what's going on with this game. It's just,
we got gameplay, we got story elements, we have, I think, motivation for Norman Reedus' character. Maybe, but I don't know what he's trying to do. I just know he had a family.
Yeah.
And like he has a plan. That's all I know.
It's like, I got an idea. I was like, all right.
And then the baby, I don't know what the babies do outside of powering the suit things to find the ghost guys, which I'm terrified of already. Ghosts are my irrational fear, and
they're like demons, man.
They're basically invisible velociraptors. It's the easiest way to describe them, because like the game's gonna terrify me, and it's not supposed to be a horror game. It's
I was gonna say, it doesn't look like it's supposed to be scary, right?
Nope, but it's gonna scare the hell out of me because I'm gonna be like,
that baby. Oh man,
the butt, and then it spins around and gives a thumbs
it's like,
up.
what up? That's when I was like, Death Stranding 100 in the chat.
Yeah, like it, like Kojima. You are such a fascinating man that I wish I could just be. I don't. You know what? I don't. I don't ever want to be in your mind ever, because I feel like
it'd be a scary place.
Yeah.
Give you nightmares for days.
Forever. Like, I would come out of it and be like, all right, mental institution now.
Yeah, I was gonna say you'd have to go to an insane asylum.
Yeah, like it just. But the game looks gorgeous. It's running on the what they call it, the Decma engine, the same engine that Guerrilla made for Horizon.
Yeah.
They announced at PSX 2 years ago that they're teaming up, and it blows my mind how great Horizon looked, and then Kojima can get his hands on it and make it look a million times better, and then he's going to give that back to Guerrilla. Guerrilla's going to make Horizon 2 with that knowledge, make it better, give it back to Kojima. Kojima's going to make it better. This collaboration between the two, it's huge. I'm so excited.
No Mads in this trailer though.
No Mads in this
Norman.
trailer.
Yeah, all Norman Reedus.
No, we got the 2 new actresses.
Oh yeah. Right.
There was an interview after the conference. Jeff Keighley interviewed Kojima and brought, her name's Laura. Yeah, let me pull up her name real quick. It's she apparently is Bionic Woman.
Okay.
I didn't realize that. I think it's the 70s show, the 60s show. The Bionic.
A lot of hiking going on in this game. In the meantime,
Lindsay Wagner. She is the Bionic Woman.
Okay.
And apparently he's infatuated with her. He was saying on the chat that like she's one of his idols. He always wanted to work with her, and the reason why he went after her is because he wants this game to not deal like the thing that stuck with him all these years about Bionic Woman is she had all these powers and all these weapons, and she never used them to hurt anyone. They were there to help out the situation.
Okay.
And that's what he apparently wants for Death Stranding. So it's going to be very interesting. He didn't show off any of the social media aspects that he's been teasing, that apparently we're playing this game right now and don't realize it.
Wait, what?
He did. So he announced a few months back that this is going to be a social media network connected game, and that we're all playing right now. We just don't know it.
That's insane.
And nobody knows what that means. We didn't find out what that meant in this trailer either. This trailer showed nothing of that. So who knows? I don't know if
we still don't have a release date either, do we?
Nope. I don't think this game's going to get a release date until after The Last of Us.
Do you think this is a PlayStation 5 game?
No, he was very adamant that was running on PlayStation 4 Pro.
Okay.
Now, PlayStation 5 being out at the time, I don't put it past that. Like, my vision of what PlayStation and Xbox are doing, the next box that these two companies come out with, they're gonna be backwards compatible. That's probably a given. But I see it more like a PC, where if you put a PS4 game inside of a PlayStation 5, you're gonna get enhanced visuals, enhanced speed, enhanced all this stuff. Kind of like what a PlayStation 4 Pro does to a PS4.
Yeah.
So it being a PlayStation 4 game and running on a PlayStation 4 doesn't mean that it's not going to come out with PlayStation 5 or have PlayStation 5 enhancements built into the game. So you can run it on your PlayStation 4, your PlayStation 4 Pro at a much better frame rate, a much better resolution, or you can run it on your PS4 or PS5 at like basically top clocking and everything like that. Kind of like if you were to put a game in your PC, depending on what specs your PC, that would be what your game ran. But then they announced a game that I didn't see coming at all. So, what is it? It's Tecmo? Is that the company?
Yeah. Kyoa Tecmo.
Yeah, the ones who
how to pronounce their name. Yeah, but yeah, you're right.
The ones who do Dynasty Warriors. So when I first saw that title, I was like, oh my god, are you kidding me? You're going to announce a Dynasty Warriors on the PlayStation E3 conference. And then I saw Team Ninja, and I was like, alright, is this a new Ninja Gaiden? And then it's Neo 2. Neo just came out last year.
Yeah, yep.
So, like, I wasn't even thinking that a Neo 2 was even close. But it was close, and it's coming, and I think it's coming early next year, from what I remember. I didn't write down the release date if there was one.
Yeah, I don't know if they had one on there. I don't think they did.
It might have just been like coming soon, or might have just been an announcement trailer. But that blew my mind. I was not expecting
Didn't expect that. Yeah.
I was expecting Bloodborne 2, which is a very similar Souls-like game, but it's not here again. But before I get to the final announcement of the E3 conference, after the E3 conference on the Sony like briefing afterwards, they From Software did announce an exclusive PSVR title.
Oh yeah, they snuck that in there. I forgot about that. Yeah.
Called, Dicena or something. There's a bunch of accents above these letters, and I'm not good with English, let alone other languages. But it looks really cool. I was really worried that it was going to be a Souls-like game in VR, and I was like, I'm not ready for that. I don't think anybody's ready for that. I don't need to die 100 times in VR. But it seems like a tranquil, like foresty, like you're a fairy kind of.
Yeah, a little more. It was definitely a lot more lighthearted.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, but that's not how they ended the show. They ended the show with Spider-Man.
Oh yeah.
This game's coming out in 3 months.
Yes.
I cannot wait for it.
I already got it pre-ordered, man. I got the
Me too.
I got the special edition, the one that comes with the figure.
With the statue?
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
Yep, I have to go. I pre-ordered it a little late. All the GameStops around me were, so I have to go all the way down to McKnight Road to get my copy.
Oh man.
But
make it a night out of it. Get some dinner and stuff.
Yeah, it'll be worth it.
Yeah.
But this game, they announced 4 new enemies in this game. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, 4 new enemies. They announced Scorpion, Electro, Vulture, and Rhino.
Yep.
So it's the Sinister Six. There's no question about it that it's the Sinister Six, because at the end of the trailer, Mr. Negative shows up, which I didn't know. I don't know if he's ever been part of the Sinister Six. The Sinister Six's roster changes a lot, and from media to media. But normally, he's not an iconic Sinister Six member.
Okay.
So normally, like, if we're going with like iconic members, it's like Mysterio, Rhino, Doc Ock, Scorpion, and then it can change from like Kraven, the Manhunter, and like Green Goblin. Like, there's always like one or two like interchangeable characters, but never Mr. Negative. I didn't know Mr. Negative. I'm not a deep Spider-Man nerd, but he's one of my favorite characters. I feel like
you're at least familiar with,
and I didn't know who Mr. Negative was until this game.
Okay, yeah.
So that you Spider-Man fans out there will now know where I sit inside of like the pantheon of Spider-Man. Basically, if it wasn't part of the Spider-Man cartoon, I don't have too much knowledge on it.
Yeah.
Outside of like the newer comic books, I read like the newer Spider-Man comics and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But Mr. Negative shows up, and they make it sound like the 5 of them are hired by a person to do this.
It's got to be Kingpin, right?
I don't know. Kingpin, you would think, but Kingpin's never been an active member. There would like, if he was the organizer of the Sinister Six, they would have shown all 6 members, and then they would have had, like, I'm thinking the 6th member is the one who brought them all together, and it's coming down to 2 people. Green Goblin or Doc Ock.
Oh man, either or would be.
Or Goblin of some kind. Green Goblin, New Goblin, Hobgoblin.
Yeah.
Because Norman Osborn is in this game. I think it would be too much of a.
You can't have him in this game without a Goblin of sorts.
Yeah, and I think it'd be too easy to make him a Green Goblin. So like, if they would, maybe it's the first sighting of Hobgoblin in this universe, and everybody thinks it's Norman, and it's like ruining Norman's, because I think he's running for mayor. Maybe it's like ruining his run for mayor, and he's like trying to prove his innocence while this Goblin is flying around, but everybody knew he was Goblin before, and like I'm thinking there's going to be some sort of struggle, because it seems like they're very adamant on literally pitting Spider-Man and Peter's allies and enemies against each other.
Yeah.
So like,
I can totally make some choices, maybe.
Yeah, I can totally see him like, as Peter, Norman coming to Peter and being like, "Look, I know you're Spider-Man. We've had our blah blah blah. I'm changed. I'm different. I'm honestly trying to make a difference. I'm trying to do good." And you, as Spider-Man, having to make a choice: do you believe him or do you not believe him?
Yeah.
And I'm interested to see what they do. a lot of the people in our Mammoth chat want Venom. Venom's never been a part of the Sinister Six. Venom is an anti-hero. Mm-hmm. He hates Peter and Spider-Man, but he would also be the same person fighting all 6 of these people. Because, I don't think it's him. And from the, I can see them maybe. I'm hoping they don't do like this weird like, it's Mary Jane and she's a villain now, or it's Aunt May and she's a villain.
That would be dumb. What? No.
But it has to be somebody. Yes, it has to be somebody that Peter knows because he said no, not you, or like it can't be you, or something like that.
What about Carnage, man?
It could be Carnage. I don't think.
But you can't have Carnage without Venom.
Yeah, and I don't think, to be honest though, I don't think Carnage is pure chaos. Yeah. Carnage doesn't work together. Carnage doesn't organize anything. He's the Joker of the Spider-Man universe.
Yeah.
I honestly think it's like a Doc Ock, or it looks like there's something yellow glowing on Spider-Man at the end of the trailer. Like, I don't know if it's Electro. It's supposed to be like Electro's electricity.
Oh, it could be him. Yeah.
If it's, or if it's maybe I can't see it being Doc Ock. I'm thinking Hobgoblin. Hobgoblin's usually yellow instead of green.
Yeah.
And it could be just Peter thinking that it's Green Goblin in a different suit.
Right.
So I don't know. It has to be a goblin, in my opinion.
Gonna find out soon enough, man.
3 months.
That's right.
Actually, less than 3.
Less than that, really, yeah.
Because we just have to get through. Well, it's mid-June. 2.5 months. We have to get through maybe 3 months exactly, because it comes out I think the 20th or something like that of September.
It's like an
almost exactly
an added week in between. Yeah.
Yep. But then the conference is over. No sizzle reels. No. Sony is definitely changing it up. They're trying new things. They're trying something.
Dude. Where was Final Fantasy VII? Where was Final Fantasy VII?
I think you need a square where Final Fantasy VII is.
Hold on, time out. PSA right here. You see? All right, we good? Yeah, we good. There was no Final Fantasy VII at E3 2018.
Unless it shows up on Nintendo's conference.
No, hell no.
No, it's not.
Square? I don't know what Square Enix is doing. This is what the fans want. They wanted to see, even if it's just a little tease, a little trailer tease, hey, it's still coming. It'll be ready whenever it's done. Something like that. Just have that come up on the screen. You had nothing for one of the greatest video games ever. Nothing.
True.
Just let that just sit in for a minute. You could have, you just think back whenever it was originally
at PSX.
Yeah, it was. And it was on the PlayStation stage. You could have had it there again, but you let the opportunity slide by. You could have had it at your own press event today, even though it would have been like maybe 45 minutes. If you would have had it at your own press event, but it wouldn't have been as big of an epic fail as it was, in my opinion.
It also would have made sense on why you had one at all.
Yes.
Because as of right now, I have no idea why you had one. Still, more was shown at the Xbox and PlayStation conference from Square than Square Enix. Right.
Where is Final Fantasy VII? Unbelievable. I'm done. I just had a rant. I'm freaking floored that they didn't have that on the show floor, dude. Unbelievable.
Yeah, it's it definitely,
That's not PlayStation's fault either. That's Square.
No, that's Square's fault.
That's Square.
I can guarantee PlayStation definitely has this now new reputation of they're only going to re-show big hyped titles like Spider-Man, Death Stranding, Ghost of Tsushima. Well, actually, I think this might be the first of Ghost of Tsushima that we've seen outside of an announcement trailer. Mm-hmm. And Last of Us. Sony knows that those 4 games are at least 3 out of the 4. We don't know about Ghosts yet on how people feel. Right. But those 3 games, they have to show more of. They're gonna jam those games down your throat. But literally everything outside of Kingdom Hearts 3 was brand new games. So Sony has this reputation of once the game's announced, It's no longer on our stage. We don't show it again unless it's a huge game. Final Fantasy VII, I'm sorry, is in the same boat as Kingdom Hearts 3, and Sony would have shown that again if there was something to show.
Oh, yeah.
And I don't know if it's going to be a PSX.
I don't know if we're going to see Final Fantasy VII again until, you know.
In all honesty, they might do another announcement, like from the announcement that it did
like
before.
like a announcement. You mean like a press release?
More or less like a. They're going to pretend like they haven't announced it yet. Like they're going to go completely quiet. They're not going to give you any updates, no information, and then one of these E3s or a PSX are going to be like
one of these
Kingdom
E3s.
Kingdom Hearts Final Fantasy VII remake. Here's a trailer, and it's like now coming soon. Like basically just re-announce it without
everybody's
paying.
Gonna be like, no shit.
Yeah, exactly. But I don't know how else they're gonna do it, to be honest, because so when they first announced it,
right.
It was supposed to be episodic, and it was out of studio. It wasn't Square. Square was publishing it, but it was made by somebody else. People lost their shit. People lost their minds that it was going to be episodic.
Yeah.
And I was under the impression that if they were going to do an episodic game, what I wanted them to do, first game out, focus on the original Kingdom Hearts 7 or Final Fantasy 7. Then the second episode, make it the prequel, Crisis Core, and build that into the story. And then the third episode, Advent Children, make that an actual game and put that into the story and just make it one cohesive story from beginning to end. I don't know if that's what their plan was. I don't know what they were really thinking, but we know that it was canceled. We know that it was refocused and then brought internally. I do believe Tetsuro Nomura, the guy who was on Crisis Core, he was on Final Fantasy VII, and also created and has directed all the Kingdom Hearts games, and Final Fantasy 13, now not 13 versus now 15, is working on the project. So I'm assuming it's very slow going right now because he's trying to get Kingdom Hearts 3 out as fast as possible and as great as he possibly can. So I'm sure that there's more than just him as creative director. There's no way that Square's just letting one guy take the brunt of this. But it's basically, when we see it again, it's going to be a completely different game. It might look the same. It might play the same. I'm hoping it plays the same. That combat system that they showed off at PSX, because they showed it 2 years in a row. Well, I'm sorry, they showed it back to back. They announced it at E3,
and then later at PSX.
Yeah, later that year at PSX, they had combat. Which is
the trailer I'm showing right now.
Where and I know a lot of people lost their minds. Like, it's not turn-based. It's not Final Fantasy VII. I liked Square's
it's action-based. I can tell.
Yeah, and I liked Square's response to that. If you want the original game, it's on PlayStation, it's on Xbox, or it's on PlayStation, it's on Steam,
PC. Yeah.
It's on PC, it's on your phone. Play that. Like if that's the game you want, play that. This isn't going to just be this isn't just going to be FF7 reskinned, plays the same, but just looks different. It's going to be a brand new game from the ground up, and it's going to play like a modern Final Fantasy game. So more in line with Final Fantasy 15, more in line with Kingdom Hearts, and that's what I want personally out of it. And I hope to God they don't get rid of that combat system or go to a turn-based combat system. Like, if they make this game look stunning like they had, and they make this game modern, but they keep it's not even a time-based combat system. It's not turn-based, it's time-based, I think it's what they call it, where
time-based, okay,
yeah, like you have a little time meter, and like some of your characters might be super fast, so some of your characters might attack 3 or 4 times while another character hasn't attacked yet. So, excuse me, I keep burping. So that's fun, but if I want that, I will play Final Fantasy VII original on whatever I want to. Like, I have it on my PS3, my Vita, my PSP, my phone, literally I have Final Fantasy VII wherever I need it. The reason I fell in love with Crisis Core, the PSP game, is largely in part to the combat system. I like that action game. I like that Final Fantasy 15 feel, where it's almost like a hack and slash, but with more thought out processes. So I'm hoping it's that. I don't want a turn-based system. I don't want a cooldown system. I don't want a limit break system with that. Limit breaks I want to be in there, but I don't want it to be like, I don't want it to be a standard Final Fantasy 1 through 8 kind of game or gameplay. I want modern gameplay. I want what they showed. That's what I want. I want exactly what they showed, which is why I was able and willing to forgive them for making an episodic game, because it looked like it was going to play the way I wanted to. And if they got the story right, I don't care how long it takes to get through the entirety of the game. If it's episodic, if it's not episodic, if whatever, like, I just wanted a great story, great visuals, and great combat. And so far, that's what they showed. And then they just dropped off the face of the planet, and we haven't seen or heard from them since. But
gone.
Yeah, I'm interested to see if they show up at PSX. I don't think that stage is right for announcements anymore.
Probably not.
Especially if they continue with what they did last year. I don't know if the feedback was positive or negative, or if they care what the feedback was. I'm interested to see what PSX is this year, if it's more traditional, more announcements, or what.
But focused on games, yeah.
Yeah, because like we didn't get a new remake this year.
Yep.
Like what I'm assuming would be Medieval. They announced Medieval remake at PSX last year. Nothing. We didn't get gameplay. They didn't have Spyro. Like, literally, if the game was already announced, unless it was a giant game, Sony didn't want it on their stage, which is why the conference was smaller, which is why the conference moved differently. And I enjoyed it. Personally, for me, it is my favorite conference so far this E3. I had it at great in the beginning, but when I think about it more objectively, I put it down to good.
Yeah, that's what I would say too. I think it's a good conference. It wasn't great though. Yeah.
In terms of industry, Xbox I think had a better showing. Like way more games, better like focus on direction. Like this is what Xbox is, and this is where Xbox is going. Sony was like, you know what PlayStation is. This is PlayStation. Here's more PlayStation, and which is what Sony needed to do. But I was hoping this E3 was going to be more of Sony coming out being like, this is a new redesigned PSN store. This is like more of a traditional E3 conference. PSN name changes, like backward, like network features. But
that's I remember there was like a rumor about like a leaked like timeline of what it was going to be, and that was like one of the things that was highlighted on there, and I had that secretly in the back of my mind. Maybe we'll get like backwards compatibility with like PS2 games, but no PSN name change either.
Yeah, to be fair, all those announcements are very PlayStation fan oriented, so PSX
maybe that's a PSX announcement.
Yeah, those are PSX announcements. PSN name changes, what they're changing in PlayStation Now, if there's backwards compatibility. Like those aren't E3 to Sony now is these are our games the next 6 months to a year. And then here's some big surprises that are coming later. But like we were talking in the chat, we know everything that Sony's done or is going to be doing. So there's no room for giant announcements until these games come out, and until like maybe next year, whenever Horizon 2 is probably ready to be shown off. So,
well, all in all, man, gotta say it was definitely a good conference. I think they held it down. Kept the status quo. Nothing too crazy out of the ordinary. But I think they did a great job. So.
I do too. It definitely, in my opinion, took this. I talked about it during the Xbox conference. Sony needed to drop the ball, or Nintendo needed to drop the ball for Xbox's conference to win E3. And like I said, from an industry standpoint, from what new games are coming, Xbox One, but Xbox WON, not ONE. Um, but PlayStation, I feel like, in terms of what's coming to the system, it made me still sit there and go, well, I now have even more reasons to keep my PlayStation on and even less reason to keep my Xbox, or turn my Xbox on. So I don't think Xbox did what they needed to do to sell systems, new systems. I think the industry isn't going to change at all after E3. It's not going to be like, wow, Xbox has all these new things. I need to go out and buy an Xbox. It's just going to be like, wow, Xbox talked to the fans really good that one day out of the year, and every PlayStation is still going to continue to. It's going to be PlayStation and Nintendo this Christmas trying to battle it out who sells more systems, so.
Yeah, it's crazy stuff. They say, what can you do? It's just crazy times whenever E3 rolls around every single year. Never ceases to amaze. These 3-4 companies they'll be battling it out until pretty much the end.
And yeah, exactly.
Yeah. But yeah, overall, good stuff. Definitely appreciate you guys tuning into the PlayStation.
Especially it's late.
Yeah, it's 12:30 here on the East Coast. It's still early on the West though. They're partying it up right now.
It's only like 8 o'clock.
Yeah. E3 has begun out there. They're partying it up, I'm sure. So yeah, if you guys are out there, have a great time and be safe. But yeah, for that, I think we'll pretty much go ahead and wrap up the PlayStation live stream here. Appreciate you guys tuning in and getting our opinion on seeing what we thought as far as the recap goes with the PlayStation E3 media briefing. As far as Mammoth Gamers goes, you want to make sure you're following Mammoth Gamers on Twitter. We're on Twitter. Our Twitter handle is at @mammoth_gamers. You can hit us up on there. Additionally, we're also on Facebook. Just search for Mammoth Gamers News. You can find us right on there. But for anything E3 related, E3 news, E3 op-eds, anything like that, you want to make sure you're going over to mammothgamers.com, where we have all kinds of interesting and informative E3 content. So make sure you head on over there, click the banner link at the top of the page, and you'll be right at home. So definitely check that out. Personally, myself, you want to make sure you're following me. I am A Albert Perkins. You can follow me on Twitter at Albert Perkins. I'm also on Facebook. Just search for me on there. Pretty much any other social media network, website. Mostly can be found on pretty much anything as Albert Perk 21. So just look for me and hit me up.
Yep, and if you want to follow me at all, I'm mostly on Twitter, Lost Heroes 13, no spaces, no underscores, spelled like the shows. And then if you ever want to follow my writing, if you feel like your opinion kind of aligns with me, all of my stuff is on mammothgamers.com, and that's another way to follow me.
Oh yeah. Fantastic. If you've watched all of these streams, you just got a PlayStation Platinum trophy. Mostly, any kind of achievement out there would be hard to get, but this one is pretty easy. So we definitely would just go ahead and just give them the Platinum trophy for that. Appreciate it to the max. Thank you so much for tuning into all these streams. One more left. Won't be a live stream. Will be a video recording. Will be Mark. I won't be joining that one. It will be Mark and Brian from Mammoth Gamers that will be talking Nintendo. So definitely make sure you guys go ahead and check out that video once it's live on this channel as well.
Yep.
So with that said, it's time to go to bed.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, no doubt. For Mark,
I just looked at my watch and I don't have one on.
Oh, you don't have one? It's your invisible watch, man.
It's charging right now.
That's awesome. Great stuff. It's late. What can we say? It's late on.
Yeah, we're getting giddy.
Yep. Let's wrap it up. So I guess for Mark Kriska, I'm A Albert Perkins, and we'll see you guys on the next stream.
Geek big.
Later, guys.
Have a good night.